The Galactic Combat Academy had trained warriors from 300 species across 5 spiral arms. Its halls echoed with the chittering of Vexian mantids, the deep rumbles of Kroth war chiefs, and the crystalline songs of the Luminari. But never, in its 2,000-year history, had it seen anything quite like Daniela Torres. She arrived on a Tuesday, escorted by a single administrative drone. No fanfare, no delegation, just a small human girl with dark eyes and worn boots, carrying a duffel bag that had seen better days. Another human, sneered Crixtal, a towering Vexian whose exoskeleton bore the scars of 100 training duels. His mandibles clicked with amusement. They send us their weaklings now. The cafeteria fell silent. Daniela didn't react. She simply collected her nutrient paste, synthesized for human biology, and found a corner table. Alone, Bennett Cole, the only other human in the academy, watched from across the room. He'd been here 3 months, long enough to learn the rules. Keep your head down, don't challenge the apex predators, survive until graduation. The humans weren't there to win. They were there to prove they could participate in a galaxy that viewed them as adorable curiosities at best, primitive savages at worst. He wanted to warn her. Should have warned her. By evening, the mockery had crystallized into tradition. The Vexians chittered about earthling fragility. The Kroth made jokes about her size. She barely reached Bennett's shoulder, let alone theirs. Even the normally peaceful Luminari whispered doubts about whether humans truly belonged among warrior species. Daniela said nothing. She unpacked her bunk in silence, reviewed her datapad, and slept while the others boasted about tomorrow's first training session. The combat arena occupied the academy's entire lower level, a shape-shifting battlefield that could simulate any environment from any world. Today, Instructor Vraltok had chosen the Obsidian Fields, low gravity, razor-sharp volcanic glass terrain, minimal cover. New initiates. Vraltok's voice boomed through his translator. The Kroth instructor stood 3 meters tall, his hide thick enough to stop plasma rounds. Today you prove you deserve your place here. You will face the gauntlet. 20 combat drones, escalating difficulty. Survive 10 minutes or eliminate all targets. He gestured at Daniela with a claw the size of her forearm. The human will demonstrate first. Let us establish baseline expectations. The arena erupted in laughter. Bennett's stomach twisted. The gauntlet was meant for third-week initiates, not day-1 arrivals. It was humiliation disguised as tradition. Daniela stepped onto the obsidian field. She wore standard academy combat gear, too large for her frame, cinched tight with improvised knots. No weapons yet. Those came after you proved basic competence. The drones activated. Sleek, spider-like machines designed by the galaxy's finest military engineers. Fast enough to challenge Vexian reflexes. Durable enough to withstand Kroth's strength. The first one lunged. Daniela moved. Not with the elegant precision of Luminari combat forms. Not with the overwhelming power of Kroth war arts. She moved like water finding cracks in stone, fluid, relentless, impossibly efficient. Her hand found a shard of volcanic glass as she rolled. The drone's sensor cluster shattered. She used its collapsing chassis as a springboard, launching herself at the second target. Her boots connected with its central processor. Sparks flew. Impossible, someone whispered. Look at the gravity, because that was the thing. The obsidian fields simulated 0.4 standard gravity. Perfect for the Vexians, challenging for the Kroth, manageable for most species. Humans evolved in 1.0 standard gravity. Earth's crushing weight, by galactic standards. Daniela wasn't fighting in low gravity. She was flying .4 drones down in 15 seconds. The arena fell silent except for the whir of machines and the crack of breaking components. She didn't waste energy. Every movement served multiple purposes. A dodge became a strike. A retreat positioned her for an ambush. She turned the drones against each other, used the terrain like a weapon, moved with the patient efficiency of a species that had spent millions of years as persistence hunters. Bennett understood then. They all did. This wasn't beginner's luck or human desperation. This was what happened when you took a species forged by Earth's unforgiving gravity, carved by 10,000 generations of tribal warfare, shaped by the kind of evolutionary pressure that taught you to outthink your prey because you couldn't outrun it, and you put them in a galaxy that thought physical strength was everything. .8 drones. 12. 15. Daniela's breathing remained steady. Sweat darkened her shirt, but her hands never shook. She'd found a rhythm now, a pattern in the chaos. One drone tried to flank her. She heard it before she saw it. Those human ears, capable of detecting the subtlest frequencies, and destroyed it without looking. 20 seconds left. 3 drones remained. She could have run the clock. Instead, she attacked. Used a broken drone's power core as an improvised explosive. The blast took out 2 targets. She caught the last drone with her bare hands as it tried to retreat, her fingers finding the maintenance hatch that every mechanic knew about, but no one thought to exploit in combat. Deactivation, 9 minutes, 43 seconds. Daniela walked off the field. Her expression hadn't changed. No pride, no anger, just the quiet competence of someone who knew exactly what they were capable of. Instructor Vraltalk's mandibles worked silently. Finally, acceptable. The arena remained silent as Daniela passed Krixtau. The Vexian warrior, who had called her weak just hours before, unconsciously stepped aside. Bennett found her later in the observation deck, watching the stars. "They're going to come after you now," he said quietly. "The good ones will want to train with you. The proud ones will want to prove you got lucky." Daniela shrugged. "Let them come." "How did you?" Bennett started, then stopped. "Where did you learn to fight like that?" She smiled for the first time since arriving. It wasn't a kind smile. "I grew up in the Mexico City Undercity. Before the unification, you either learned to fight or you didn't learn anything else." She turned back to the viewport, to the vast galaxy spread before them like a challenge. "They think we're weak because we're small, because we don't have claws or armor or crystalline biology." Her reflection in the glass looked tired but unbreakable. "They forgot to ask what kind of species survives on a death world for 200,000 years. What kind of species builds civilizations in environments that would kill most of them before they turned 20. Bennett stood beside her, thinking about Earth. About the planet that had tried to kill humanity with ice ages, plagues, predators, and 1,000 natural disasters. About the species that not only survived but thrived, that turned every obstacle into an advantage, every weakness into strength. "They mocked the quiet new girl," he said softly. Daniela's smile widened. "They won't make that mistake again." Below them, in the Academy's halls, the galaxy's finest warriors were learning a lesson that would echo through the ages. Never underestimate humanity. Not because they were the strongest or the fastest or the most heavily armed, but because they were human, and humans, by their very nature, refused to stay down.